Good afternoon and welcome. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Citi Para Swimming World Series. This is the USA stop for World Para Swimming in the World Series, one of the final stops before everybody gets geared up for Paris 2024. We are in Indianapolis, Indiana at the beautiful and legendary Indiana University Natatorium. We've got a lot of fast swimming ahead for you tonight. And forgive me stumbling over some words. I think I got all the names down finally for our last session. Heard a few nicknames of the swimmers that I might be calling out tonight, and they are G-rated, and their parents told me their nicknames. So we'll see if I remember to do that. Anyway, we've seen some world records. We saw one this morning out of Shelby Newkirk from Canada. She won't be swimming tonight, I don't think, in this race, but our first race tonight is the women's 50-meter backstroke, S1 to S5. In lane one will be Eden Schroeder from the United States. Our next three swimmers from Mexico. In lane two, Ibeth Solorio Cuevas in lane two. Nelly Herrera in lane three, and Karina Torres in lane four. From Canada in lane five, Hannah Ouellette. From Canada also in lane six, Nikita Enns. And their third teammate in this race, Ali Van Wyck Smart. Arabella Sperati from Greece is in lane eight. They're all lined up here and ready to go. This is heat one. I'll give you some of the points of some of these swimmers. I was given a list that I've been looking for. Eden Schroeder there in lane one got 88 points this morning. In lane two, Ibeth earned 44 points this morning for this event. One of the things that it's really valuable to be able to do if you want to make some finals, stick around on the last day. There's usually a lot of scratches due to travel, especially at a big international event. Travel plans change from time to time, and sometimes travel prices dictate when we get on planes. So definitely got an advantage to staying for the last session. Shelby Newkirk this morning broke the world record. I'm sure that still has to be ratified official, but she earned 1,028 points. The only time you can get over 1,000 points is by breaking a world record. She went 37.4. She's in the S6 50 backstroke. Lane four right now is got this pretty much underhand. That's Karina Torres from Mexico. Karina hits the wall first in 52.39. Followed right behind her by Hannah Ouellette from Canada in a 57.16, which is a little over a second and a half faster than, or just under a second and a half faster than she swam this morning. Third place there, Nelly Herrera from Mexico. Nelly was 102.5 this morning and 104.1 this evening. We've got 6 of our 8 athletes are into the wall. The athletes look like they're happy with their results. In lane 8, that is Areti Spyridou from Greece. Swimming a nice, steady 50 backstroke. Nice steady tempo in her backstroke. Over there in lane 1, that's Eden Schroeder from the United States. She went 152.2 this morning, and we don't have an official time for her, while Areti from Greece is about to hit the wall in lane number 8. She comes in at a 2:07.58. She was 2 minutes this morning, so not quite as fast as she went this morning, but she went fast enough this morning to get in that final. Outstanding. their times there. See that column under the word record? That is not a record. That is actually a split time when they're going past a 50. You can see the spaces are there, but those are their times. See that in the far right column. Our next heat the guys are making their way out, but let's look at the start here. Kind of went out to that V formation across the lanes like you would expect. Good finish there. She stayed on her back until she contacted the wall, and that is the rule in backstroke. As soon as you hit the wall at a finish in backstroke, the race is complete, so you can turn over onto your front. We just had an A heat in the women's 50-meter backstroke. We'll have an A and a B final for the men. In lane 1 for the men, Alberto Abarza Diaz from Chile, also from Chile, Patricio Lorenas Albe. Miguel Luque from Spain is in lane number 3. Abbas Karimi from the United States is swimming in lane 4. Diego Lopez Diaz in 5 from Mexico. From Peru, Isaiah Sono. Marcos Zarate Rodriguez from Mexico is in lane 7, and Christopher Tronco Sanchez from Mexico is in lane 8. This is the A final of the men's 50 backstroke. See the starting methods here. Abbas Karimi there in the center of the pool. He's actually biting down on a towel that his coach is holding steady. And then when the official says take your mark, he will lift himself up just like the athletes who are grabbing that bar. So he has figured out a way to do that. So he lifts himself up, and then he releases that towel and gets out underwater and in the lead by 3 body lengths already at the 15-meter mark. Now you can see the advantage now kind of goes to the athletes that are swimming with their arms, but that's just the advantage on paper. This is Abbas Karimi really knocking away on this 50-meter backstroke. You don't have to kick flutter kick. He has all rights within the rules to keep going dolphin kick the whole way. The only rule was he had to have his head break the surface before he got to that 15-meter mark. Here's Abbas Karimi coming into the wall in a 41.64. That is quite a bit faster than he was this morning at 42.94. The rest of the heat starting to come in now in lane number 2. In second place in that heat, Miguel Luque from Spain. And then in lane 3 for Mexico, Diego Lopez Diaz. Our last competitor coming in there in lane 1, that is Christopher Sanchez from Mexico. Went 105.14. This morning he was 105.94, so he and most of that heat went faster than they did this morning. We'll get another look at that start. Here is Abbas getting away from the wall. He gets just deep enough to be effective in his dolphin kick. And then, okay, I'm out of air. Time to break the surface. And then he gets up and knocks that touchpad with his head. Good swim. Definitely can be happy about that. It was faster than this morning. I know he wasn't really happy with his performance this morning, but certainly a good improvement, around a second faster tonight. This is a start list for the B final. There is no youth final on this one. In lane 3 from Mexico, Jesus Lopez Cervantes. In lane 4 from Peru, Manuel Silva Diaz. And from Canada, in lane 5, Riley Martin. There's the first whistle for the athletes to approach the starting blocks. And the next whistle, they will get in the water. All backstroke races start from in the water. There's various methods to do this. You'll see in lane 3 that athlete Jesus Cervantes will get an aid to the water. And then you see that towel is down for his coach to lay down across the deck. He'll bring his feet up to the surface for his coach. And his coach will, see, he's not going to hold by the feet. He's actually like a human starting block. He's holding his hand to keep him steady. That way, any kind of power that he can get away from the wall, he can use. The swimmer in lane 4 is getting held steady by the coach on the wall. You can see they release that, so it's very clear and obvious that the coach is not giving them any forward aid at the start. Right now, your early leader is Jose Diaz from Peru. At the 15-meter mark, he is holding that lead. He's got both of his competitors, Riley and Jesus, just about at his shoulders, maybe down to his hips now. Halfway down the pool, that's that black mark on the lane line. They've all just passed that. Being challenged a little bit by the swimmer from Canada, Riley Martin. I think it's going to go down to physical stamina to keep your tempo going. And Jose Manuel Silva Diaz from Peru looks like he is going to have the stamina to win this heat, our B final. And Jose hits the wall first in a 104.59. He was 104.72 this morning, so he's definitely gone faster. Second in that heat, lane 5, Riley Martin from Canada. 105.5 this morning, 105.7 tonight. 108.4 for Jesus Cervantes from Mexico. He was 108. He was 110 this morning. So all three swimmers did what they came here to do, and that is get faster at night than they were in the morning. See that start from above. You can see the stroke and body rhythm that each one of them brings. It's very different in all three swimmers, but they carry that same stroke rhythm and movement down the way down the pool. The idea in backstroke is to get that hand underwater, get a grip on it, and just push yourself forward. All three of these swimmers doing that differently very well. Next heat, women's 200-meter individual medley A final. Julia Gaffney is in lane 1. Jessica Long in 2. Summer Schmidt in lane 3. Olivia Chambers, or as I have learned, OC. I don't think that's Orange County. I think that stands for Olivia Chambers. She's in lane 4. Her teammate Colleen Young is in 5. Natalie Sims is in 6. In lane 7, Mallory Wegeman. And in lane number 8, Ahalia Lettenberger. So the athletes race to get their point score as close to the world record or beat the world record, obviously, in the morning. And they're assigned a point score based on their amount of time away from that world record. The closest swimmer to the world record this morning was Mallory Wegeman. You'll see her in lane number 7. Definitely want to give her her due for that. Olivia Chambers was the second highest point score, and Jessica Long was the third highest point score. So the lanes are not organized by their point score, but they're organized in the finals by their time in the morning. So if you were confused about that, that's something that may be evolving in the near future, where we may see a swim meet in the near future where the top point scorer in the morning has that lane 4, that coveted lane 4 that they earn in the morning. We'll see how that goes. That's all lane 4. Again, the OC, Olivia Chambers, out in front of the heat. We'll see if they all have all 4 strokes tonight. Everybody was pretty fast in their IMs this morning. Great, as a coach calls it, great honest efforts this morning. Olivia Chambers is out at the butterfly in a 31.81. Just behind her over in lane number 5, 33.54, that's Colleen Young. So we'll see if there's any backstroke specialists trying to push on. And I'll start to talk to you about the Coach John method of coaching this event. In the butterfly, I like to just keep their swimming with nice fast rhythm, not worrying about a lot of power and going fast, and then rate in the backstroke. And you can see Olivia just with that fast arm backstroke rate So she's actually swimming how I would coach this, at least so far. She had great rhythm in the fly, great rate in the backstroke, and now great range in the breaststroke, or distance per kick. And boy, she is doing that. Outstanding. And if you do those three things in the fly, the back, and the breast, you have used your energy wisely enough that you're going to be able to bring in that fourth R and race the freestyle. So I call it the 4 R's of the 200 IM. Rhythm, rate, range, and race. I make it sound easy, but they have to get out and train to be able to do that. It looks like Olivia Chambers is doing that. Colleen Young is definitely challenging her. When we look at these splits, she's going to definitely have a faster split. The splits are not coming up for the 50 there. Colleen's was 43.10, and I think that was probably a bit faster split in the breaststroke than Olivia had, but Olivia managed that energy so well, and you can see it's not easy, but she's making it look easy. She's got the energy to race the entire 50 freestyle. She's got that rhythm to her kick. Nice, fast, straight arms forward. They don't stay straight underwater. You can see her elbows bend in her catch. Olivia Chambers comes in and she goes 226.40. She was 227.9 this morning, so she's faster than she went. Colleen Young was 232 tonight, 234 this morning. Those are your first and second place by time. And in third there in lane 3, that is Summer Schmidt, 243.63. And she was 243.61. So we're going to give her the break, as she was only 2/100ths of a second off what she did this morning. Fourth place was Natalie Sims at a 245.82. Fifth was Jessica Long, 247.5. 257.7 for Mallory Wegeman. Ahalia Lettenberger was seventh with a 303.1, and at 304.6, that is Julia Gaffney. Looks like just about everybody was faster than they were this morning. So IMers is definitely a strategic race. And if you can leave a little in the tank in the morning swim and still make the finals, you have the opportunity to do what these women did tonight. And that is all of them swam faster. Probably the second most populated event we had this morning. So we do have 3 full finals for you. Our next final is a youth final, and that is made up of athletes with the top point scorers that are 18 or under. Interestingly enough, if you're 18 or under and you make that top 8, you swim in that A final. That way you're going to be challenged best in that fastest final. But we did not have anybody under 20 in that first heat. Casey Freeman is in lane 1 of heat 2. From Colombia, Sarah Vargas Blanco. In lane 3, Keegan Knott from the U.S. She swims at Northern Arizona University. In lane 4 from Japan, Kenan Fukuda. In lane 5, Mary Jibb from Canada. In lane 6, Momo Sutton from the United States. From Canada, Ali Deal in lane 7. And Megan Giaffreda in lane 8 from the U.S. There is Kenan from Japan and Keegan Knott right next to her. And there are the Momo flags. Even got a Momo cheer in there. Now let's see how they stack up in that rhythm, rate, range, race plan. So we're looking for a butterfly that's not swimming very powerfully, but one that's just kind of staying at the surface with a good, solid, fast stroke rhythm. You really kind of see that all the way across the pool. Lane 5, that is Mary Jibb from Canada. She's landing pretty deep, and that puts you in a position to have to swim pretty powerfully, so she could be a butterfly specialist or just very good at butterfly. That could cost you, though. You're using a lot of arm power very early in the race, where you've got to come back to that powerful stroke in the breaststroke. We'll see how Kanan Fukuda from Japan challenges her. And it looks like Mary is holding her off for now, keeping her at her feet. Mary swims with a lot of power in her strokes. She gets really deep in that backstroke, really deep water that she goes for. Let's see how her breaststroke is. If she's a powerful swimmer, she certainly will have some power in the breaststroke. And she absolutely does. You see that big gush of water that comes out in front of her at each stroke. That's usually the result of a very powerful inward pull. You can see that big gush of water. Now swimming with a little bit higher tempo is our swimmer from Japan, Kanan Fukuda, and she's taking a few more strokes over this 50, but in swimming with a higher tempo and using a little less power, she's actually overtaking a powerful swimmer in Mary Jibb. That is Kanan Fukuda. They're about to turn at the same time. 209.01 and 209.5. Kanan went about a half a second ahead, so we'll see where they are in the freestyle. Now it just may be down to who wants to get to that wall first. See, swimmer in lane 6 turning there, that's Momo Sutton. But here is the race shaping up. I think maybe Mary heard me, which I know she didn't, but she really turned on that kick right about midway down the freestyle 50 and said, Kanan, if I see you at the podium, you'll be next to me. I'll be in the middle. Very nice swim for both of these women. First place there was Mary Jibb with Kanan Fukuda in second. Third, right behind there, is Keegan Knott from the U.S., 258.67. So she's a little off. She's about 6/10 off of her morning swim. Fourth in that heat in lane number 7 was Ali Deal from Canada in a time of 3:06.37. Tiring swim. Sometimes you don't want to look at the clock after a race. Sometimes you do. Great finish there from Megan Giuffreda in lane number 8, 3:34.72. That is almost 4.5 seconds faster than she swam this morning at 3:38. So outstanding efforts. You can see from our swimmers' reactions if they like the result or not. You see the different styles of strokes throughout the race make the leads change. She's that far ahead at the beginning of the breaststroke and then was about a half a second behind. Sometimes that's all a swimmer needs to see is their competitor trying to pass them. Probably came out of this turn. Yeah, she breathed towards swimmer from Japan and said, "Oh, you caught me. Let me see what I can do about this." Outstanding swimming, great racing. Certainly appreciate all the efforts they're giving. In the B final now in the women's 200 IM, Callie Prochazka from the United States in lane 1. Haven Shepard is swimming in lane 2. From Mexico, America Makeda Andrade is in 3. I think she's been in the final of everything that she swam in the morning. Grace Newfer, exact same story, having a great meet from the U.S. in lane 4. In lane 5 from the U.S., Gia Pergolini, great racer, Anastasia Pagonis. This heat is loaded. May White in lane number 7 from the U.S. And from Mexico, Matilda Alcazar Figueroa. This is a loaded heat with people who love to race. Some of them race methodically. Some of them just go for it right off the blocks. So you see Gia Pergolini there. She's going to go for it from the blocks. She's not a person who holds back. Grace Newfer has been having such a fantastic swim meet. And then you've got Anastasia Pagonis there, medalist from Tokyo, who is coming back on the scene here, ready to race. Here we go. This is the B final of the women's 200-meter individual medley, SM5 to SM14. Outstanding start, hopefully not too fast from lane 4. That was Grace Neufer in lane 4 getting out of there. Out of that block very fast. As I told you, Gia Pergolini in lane 5. She's just a gamer. She loves to race. She gets out there, whether she likes how she feels or not. She knows she has the ability and confidence to just go right from the block. We'll see how she manages her energy over this 200 IM. She swam the fastest of this race by time from these 8 point scoring finalists. Gia's holding Grace off for now. We'll see what Grace brings with the breaststroke. Behind them, a pretty good race. It looks like it could be 2 breaststrokers in lane 3 and 6. We'll see how that plays out. But right now, it is Gia Pergolini out in front, going the backstroke to breaststroke. So you have to stay on your back until you touch that wall, and then you can transition over to the breaststroke. You have to be on your front. A lot of little rules. Those are details for this level of athlete. But if you're just learning the sport, it's got very clear rules on stroke technique that you must do. Gia's holding on to this lead really well. Grace is making a little move on her. They both swim a nice long kick breaststroke. So they kick themselves forward and kind of hold that streamline. Grace holds that streamline a little bit longer than Gia does. So we'll see if that helps her conserve a little bit of energy going into the freestyle race. I think if she gets close and Gia sees her, I think Gia will close well. She's going to do it anyway, but see if Grace can get up there and make Gia go faster. $15 meters to go in this 200 IM. That's Gia Pergolini. Grace has made a move on her, but it's not going to be enough. That's Gia Pergolini, 2:32.87. She was 2:37 this morning, so 5 seconds faster than she swam this morning. Grace Neufer, 33.92 on that 50 free to Gia's 34.7, so she did go faster in the freestyle, but Gia was fast enough earlier in the swim that a faster split by a competitor did not matter in this case. Grace was 2:35.02, which is faster than her 2:37 this morning. So again, we're seeing a lot of swimmers go faster at night than they did in the morning, and that is a great practice for the upcoming Paris Paralympic Games. In the morning, you got to go pretty darn fast to get in the final, but in the final, that's where they dole the medals out from. So it's great to see Haven Shepherd there having a nice time with her friend and teammate. Check out your swimmer's time there. See all those black American swim caps. Like just about every race she's done this weekend, Gia Pergolini just won it from the blocks. Those are always very fun athletes to coach because they're always gamers. And sometimes in practice, you actually have to hold them back a little bit. Great finish. And there are your first and second place swimmers by time in that final. We'll see how their points stack up. Next up is the men's 200-meter individual medley, SM5 to SM14. We have all 3 heats filled up tonight. in this event. The A final is up first, and then we'll have the 18 and under youth final, and then the B final. We'll see how the guys use their different stroke techniques to perform the IM. I'm a big believer in the 4 R's: rhythm for the fly, rate for the back, range or distance per kick in the breaststroke, and then race the freestyle. It's not something you can hear and then go do, though. It's something that you really have to train day in and day out. Is working on a different type of butterfly for the IM than you would for a butterfly race. Certainly a little bit of a faster tempo backstroke as well than you would in a backstroke race. Breaststroke, you would likely, to follow my plan, hold out in front a little bit more off of each kick so that you can get a maximum distance off of each kick. None of these methods make you go slower. They just make you conserve so that when you get to the freestyle, you can race. In this race, we've got Raul Gutierrez Bermudez in lane 1. It looks like they haven't quite brought them out yet, but that's a beautiful graphic arch that we have at the meet this year. A great way to showcase the athletes' country's flag, their full name, and the lane they're going to swim in. We've got the World Para Swimming World Series logo. And you are watching this from Indianapolis, Indiana. Far left of your screen there is the very famous in Indiana and worldwide Nadine Day. Famous here for how much she gives to this sport. She helps organize volunteers for a lot of the events that happen here at the natatorium. There's Grace Newford talking with her coach, kind of going over splits. Okay, splits aren't important when you find yourself on the Jumbotron. They know they're on. We're watching. Okay, we're throwing out the school signs, I hope. People notice. Oh, we're on. Wave, wave, wave. Very nice. This is such a great place to come to race here in Indianapolis. This is the Indiana University Natatorium. Oh, he knows he's up there. He doesn't want to be. There we go. They're right in front of me. Very nice. These people have been outstanding fans, family and friends, and moms and dads and uncles and grandmas and grandpas that travel so far to watch their loved ones swim and race and achieve things. I think we're about ready to parade our finalists out. This is the A final. Raul Gutierrez Bermudez in lane 1. He's got a brother, but he's going to be in lane 7. Jesus Gutierrez Bermudez in lane 2. In lane 3, David Gelfand from the United States, making his way out to the blocks. Trevor Lukasco will be swimming in lane 4. He has the fastest seated time of the top 8 point scorers. Lawrence Sapp in lane number 5. Just got edged out in the prelims this morning by Trevor. Nelson Crispin Gorzo from Colombia. Juan Gutierrez Bermudez, his brother's in lane 2. Juan is in lane 7. These guys will be battling it out yet again. And Zach Shattuck in lane number 8. There's Trevor Lukasco, had the fastest time this morning. He had the 4th highest point score. Nelson Corzo, Jesus Bermudez, and Noah Jaffe had the top 3 point scores. And some of them will be in the youth final. As expected, Lawrence Sapp is out in front from the dive. Trevor is definitely going to challenge him throughout. This is kind of how the morning heat played out. We're about 4 seconds separated them this morning after the freestyle at the end of the race. They come into the fly pretty close to together. 100th separates them, 28:18 to 28:19. Trevor is just 1/100th of a second. That's less than a fingernail. So any great racer like Lawrence, he doesn't like to get second. So he's gonna keep Trevor honest the whole way through here. And we'll see which one takes a commanding lead. Trevor's just got a little bit of edge on the backstroke, and over 50 meters, that brings him about a body length ahead of Lawrence. He does that touch the wall and flip turn. Lawrence does the turn that I really prefer as a coach, where it's more of an open turn where you can get a good breath before you go underwater and streamline. Trevor's traveling a little bit further each stroke, and his tempo is a little faster. When you add those two things up, that will help you get a little bit ahead. But there, he got to the middle of the pool, and Lawrence is picking up his tempo. This is his shot to try to get within reach and then race him in the freestyle. Trevor, although, can swim just about any distance freestyle, so it's going to be a tough challenge for Lawrence, but he's always up for it. And then over there in lane number 3, that's David Gelfand, just about to turn breaststroke to freestyle. He's one of the veterans of U.S. paraswimming. I had a couple of great conversations with him. He works in the medical instruments industry. He is an engineer in the medical instruments industry. He helps develop surgical instruments that are used in shoulder, elbow, knee surgeries. Great finish there from Trevor. He was 2:21.3 this morning, 2:19 tonight. Both of them went faster than they did this morning. That's what we really want to see. Lawrence was 2:24.78. He was 2:25.3 this morning. Third place there, David Gelfand, 36:10 on his freestyle for 2:32.1. And he was 2:30 this morning. So he's a little faster this morning, but he did hold a third place time. We'll see where his world record points play out. Zach Shattuck just about to hit the wall. He hits the wall in 3:01.08, a little off of where he was this morning, but a great effort no less. There's your results, unofficial, for Heat 1, the A final. The brothers Gutierrez Bermudez from Mexico. Bragging rights on this one goes to older brother Raul. Beats Jesus this one. They get away so close. There's only 100th of a second that separated that first 50 right there. Through the breaststroke, the second half of the backstroke and most of the first half of the breaststroke is what separated these two. And Lawrence really held his own, and they finished about 5 seconds apart from each other again. Our youth final in lane 1, Lucas Collada from the United States. The first 7 lanes are American swimmers. Noah Bush in lane 2, Aiden Stivers in lane 3, Aaron Thomas in 4, Owen McNear in lane 5, Braxton Wong in lane 6, and Ryan Edelman from the U.S. in lane 7. Charlie Giamichel in lane 8 is here from Canada. Those are your youth finalists in the men's 200-meter individual medley, SM 5 to 14. It's always fun for a teammate to get that last yell in before a whistle. There's a whistle to stand up on the blocks. The officials come forward to watch to see if there's any movement at the start. they say take your mark, you have to come down and hold still until the start of the race. It looks like everybody looks pretty clear there. Best dive in first 15 meters in lane 2. That's Noah Bush. Looks like Noah is bringing on the butterfly for us in this heat. These are the young guys, 18 and under. There's only 3 18-year-olds in this heat. 4. So half this heat's 18 years old, and we'll go into the regular A or B final next year. Noah's holding on to that lead, not by a whole lot, but he's holding on to that lead. He was 30.6. A mid-31 was just behind him over there in lane 6. Swimmer in lane 5, Owen McNair, looks like he's making a little bit of a move. He's right next to Braxton Wong in lane number 6. Those two are kind of going stroke for stroke in the backstroke in that battle for second right now. Noah Bush is, he got caught a little bit by those guys. Let's see, of the 3 of them, who the breaststroker is going to be. And so far, it looks like Noah's going to hold them off. See, he's getting that distance per kick. That's a really good way to swim the breaststroke in an IM. You have to find the balance so you're not waiting to take your stroke, but you're getting that full body length stretched out forward. So the 3 guys there in the middle having a good battle. They're all pretty solid flyers, backstrokers and breaststrokers. We'll see who's got the energy here to get home and race the freestyle. If you manage your energy well enough in the first 3, you should be able to race the freestyle. And the freestyle, if you have that energy, you're going to see if you're able, this great bubbling kick behind you. Nothing messy, but nice and clean and lots of bubbles. And you're seeing that very clearly in lane 2. But here comes lane 4. Big closer, that's Aaron Thomas. He's just been kind of lurking throughout the heat, and he ends up taking the win. He was almost 2.5 seconds faster than Noah in that last 50 freestyle. So he managed those first 3 strokes really well, finishing in a 29.8, just off what he did this morning. These 2 guys out in lane 1 and lane 8. That is lane 8 from Canada, Charlie Giamichel. He was 3:00 this morning, 2:57.7 tonight. Lucas Collada there in lane 1 came in 8th, 2:58.99. We'll have a little recap of this race. We'll see where that lead changed, hopefully in the end of the freestyle. I don't want to say Aaron Thomas came out of nowhere. He basically did exactly what he did this morning to get in lane 4. Sometimes if it's not broken, you don't fix it. Our next heat is the B final. Aiden Williams will be swimming in lane 1 from the United States. Morgan Ray in lane 2. Jesse Grieve in lane 3, all 3 from the United States. From Puerto Rico in lane 4, Javier Josue Hernandez Rodriguez. And from Mexico in lane number 5, Nestor Hernandez Ramirez. Tyler Austin in lane 6 from the U.S. And our last 2 swimmers in this heat in 7 and 8 from Mexico, Diego Rios and Diego Andrade. Got a Diego battle in 7 and 8. After this, we'll have the 150 individual medley. If you did not watch this morning, there's a couple of the classifications, SM1 to SM4, that swim this same race, but they do it without the butterfly. So they start at the other end of the pool and go 150 meters. 1 lap backstroke, 1 breaststroke, 1 freestyle. These guys are about to do all 4 in a 200. Starts with a 50-meter butterfly. 4 and 5 getting out earliest. That's Javier and Nestor from Puerto Rico and Mexico. Javier in lane 4 continued to press forward, so he not only got off the blocks fast as Nestor. His butterfly is a bit faster as well. Looks like he's probably about a second to a second and a half faster. He'll hit the wall in 31-1 and 32-1 for Nestor Ramirez. Nestor's definitely bringing some fast tempo, and he is slowly chipping away at the lead. Nestor Ramirez is slowly chipping away at the lead of Javier Rodriguez. I don't know that he's going to get to the wall before him in the backstroke, but he's definitely brought it back to a even, very close to even race. He's only about a meter behind him. And don't count out our swimmer in lane 3. That is Jesse Grieve from the United States. Put in also a fantastic backstroke quarter of the race. Javier's breaststroke is nice and long out in front. He's not racing his tempo. He's getting full distance off of his kick. Swimming at a little bit higher tempo there is Nestor, as is Jesse. They're slowly inching up on Javier's lead. Not going to be enough in the breaststroke, but he definitely will have a faster split. .46.3 for Javier from Puerto Rico, and 48 and 49 for the guys on either side of him. And he is not going to let them catch him. That is Javier Josue Hernandez Rodriguez from Puerto Rico. I don't think he's going to let anybody catch him. He was 237.40 this morning. The clock is right around 228, 229, 230. He should be faster than 237, should be around high 235. And he is 234.99. Congratulations, Javier Rodriguez from Puerto Rico, on winning that by time in the B final. Oh, he looks like he may have just missed a time that he was trying to go. I think he's happy with hitting the wall first, but he might not be pleased with his time. That's always tough. And I'm certainly speculating just by the look on his face, but I've seen that look many times over the last 35 years as a coach. Oh, I won the heat. Oh, I missed the time. It happens. Morgan Ray there is 6 and 302. He was 301 this morning, so he's a little bit off on his swim from today. Here's that heat getting away from the blocks. Good dolphin kick underwater. And Javier, I probably should be saying Javier. Pretty solid all the way through. He didn't really let anybody catch him, even though they tried to throughout the race, and that's outstanding because that makes those guys work a little harder. Maybe remind them when they get back to their home pools how much work they have ahead of them. Happy about the win. He sees the time, and I can't read it. I'm trying so hard. I can't tell. Maybe that was just how tired he was. Outstanding efforts either way. We'll see who comes up with the best points out of that race. Nelly Miranda Herrera from Mexico is going to be racing Canadian swimmer Ali Van Wyck Smart. This is the women's 150-meter individual medley, SM1 to 4. So Ali is an SM3 swimmer, and Nelly is an SM4, as you see on that far column on your right. The S means swimming, the M means medley, and then the classification number they were given in classification. 3 and the 4. There's nothing better than a respectful crowd when that whistle blows. That's when we're supposed to be quiet so they can tune in on the starter. The officials will come up and watch to make sure that the coaches don't press them forward. I don't think that's a very common thing that you see. After all the work everybody does, the last thing you want to do is push your swimmer forward. See, so we have them releasing their ankle and wrist. You don't contest the butterfly in the 150 meter IM for SM1 and SM4. So it's a 150 meter race, not a 200 meter race like we were just watching. That is Nelly Herrera from Mexico with about a 6 or 7 meter lead halfway through the backstroke portion of the race. The thing that is keeping her body so straight behind her is that just rock solid head position. Both of these swimmers keep that head position quite steady. Without that, if you're moving your head around, your body's going to follow, almost snake-like. So if you start to move your head a little bit, your hips will start to wiggle behind you. That's whether you're kicking or not, that's going to happen. That's Allie hitting the wall, backstroke to breaststroke. She gets away and starts her breaststroke. So she's taking about 2 strokes to each breath. Allie was about 5 minutes, .48 this morning in her 150 IM. Out in front of the heat is Nelly Herrera from Mexico. She was 3:36 this morning, so you got about an hour. You got about a minute and a half, roughly, between the times that they went this morning. But they're in two different classifications, so they're both chasing a different set of points. So looks to the heat are deceiving in this situation. We are working here in the U.S. to integrate the point system into the timing system so that when they hit the wall, you can see the points that they score. That will help you visually, as I'm just kind of explaining this in theory throughout the weekend. Nelly heading back, got about 25 meters to go in her 150 IM. Again, she was 3:36.8 this morning. I'm looking for where she was. On the points. Nelly had 553 points this morning with that 3:36. And she is 10 seconds faster. They hit almost at the same time there with Allie having another 50 to go. She's 3:26.7, and of course she's going to be happy with that. She was 10 seconds faster, 553 points this morning. I don't know what that will get her for tonight, but we'll see that point score when the final results come up. Obviously very happy with that. Allie's done the first 15 meters of her 50 freestyle in this race. She doesn't pull her head out of alignment to take her breath. You can see it goes right with her, puts it right back in line, and that's what keeps her hips going straight down the pool. The stroke she's swimming is outstanding. Very efficient. She's got about 10 meters to go in this. She was 5 minutes point.
Get in the front of this. Catch up.
5 minutes point 48 this morning. Just about 10 seconds from now, she's 4:55, 56, 57, 58. Yes, she's 4:59.16, faster than this morning. Outstanding swim for Allie. Actually, such a great swim for both of them. They will both score more points than they did this morning. And that will take us to the men's 150 IM. Backstroke, a little breaststroke recap. Just about 25 meters separate them there. And they are both swimming faster times as we watch the recap of this race than they did this morning. That's what we came here to do, is to keep getting better. We've just got one race left before we have a little break for awards. And I have to tell you, the masterfulness of our officiating crew. We're supposed to start this race at 5:56, and we're going to be pretty close to that. We're just about a minute from that goal, so we are on schedule. Our finish time tonight is scheduled for 7:05, but a lot of times those awards breaks take a little bit longer. We've got athletes that are down here swimming multiple events and need to warm up, and then you have to find them and all that sort of stuff. In the men's final for the 150 IM from Mexico, Christopher Tronco Sanchez. In lane 3 from Canada, Riley Martin. Miguel Loque from Spain in lane number 4. From Mexico, Marcos Zarate Rodriguez. And Diego Lopez Diaz, also from Mexico, will be swimming in lane number 6. There they get the first whistle right before the start. The next whistle, they will drop into the water. All right, it's getting quiet for the start now as these guys enter the water. Some coaches, it looks like, will assist. Some athletes don't need that assistance. In the bottom of your lane there, that's something you don't normally see if you don't spend a lot of time watching Paralympic swimming. He's actually, instead of being able to grip the backstroke pole, he has bitten down on a rope and a biting plate, and then he'll leave just as fast as everybody else because he could lift himself up just as everybody else. Outstanding adaptation made so that he can swim just as fast as the rest of the heat. That's Christopher Sanchez in lane 1, and he is right in the mix right now. Some pretty fast tempo backstrokers there at the top of your screen. That is Diego Lopez Diaz from Mexico. Has a slight lead, I believe, over lane 4, which is Miguel Luque from Spain. Oh, he's a backstroker. I can tell he's a backstroker. He's taking in some water in his mouth and he's spitting it out about every third or fourth stroke. He's stopped doing it, so he generally only does that in the middle of the pool, and I have seen that for years, and it's kind of funny. Generally a backstroker. It's somebody who spends a lot of time swimming backstroke, and a lot of backstroke training sometimes is boring, so you bring in some habits that might not help you during a race. Lane 4, though, Miguel Loque came here to do some business, and he's definitely doing that business. He's 47 years old. He's here from Spain. He's on the breaststroke leg, and he's got 25 meters to go to the freestyle. Marcos Rodriguez from Mexico is swimmer in the red cap, trying to keep those other guys behind him at this point and race for second place. The only race in the race is for second, third, and fourth, and fifth, as Miguel Loque from Spain has got this race handled. Turns of the breaststroke, he was 107.2 on that 50 for 200 overall in his first 100. And he is swimming the other way as the other guys are still swimming the breaststroke. Very meticulous in how he places his arms in the freestyle. These guys turn together 222.3 and 222 or 229. Definitely ahead for second place. That is Marcos Rodriguez, but finishing up his freestyle, just got about 10 meters to go from Spain. That is Miguel Luque, SM4 classification. He was 3:10.3 this morning, and he is going to be well under that. 3:10.3 this morning, 2:54.44 tonight. His freestyle split was 54.3. So he averaged a minute on the other two strokes. Peace, love, and swim fast. Great job. In lane 5, that's Marcos Rafael Zarate Rodriguez from Mexico. He's 24 years old. He was 3:28.5 this morning, and he's going to be faster than that at a 3:26.82. So we have both of our top two swimmers in at times faster than this morning. In lane 3, that is Martin Riley from Canada. He was 3:34 this morning, 3:37 tonight, so a little bit off. Diego Lopez Diaz was 4th, 3:39.46, and he was 3:46 this morning, so he is definitely faster. But look at Christopher Sanchez coming in from Mexico. He was 4:04 this morning, 3:54 tonight, 10 seconds faster in the final. Outstanding swims. 4 of the 5 athletes in the pool there just swim faster than they did this morning, and that's what we all come to do. That's a great percentage of improvement for that heat. So we'll move on to our 100 backstrokes after we watch a recap of this swim. Miguel was getting challenged a bit in the backstroke, but as they changed strokes, he definitely went ahead. Really right at the turn, he went ahead in the breaststroke and just continued to improve on the heat. Yeah, nice and long. So he's very, very meticulous in how he swims his freestyle. And by meticulous, I mean it's very well thought out where he's placing his hands. Everything's on purpose. Talk about purpose. He's definitely swimming with purpose, trying to get himself qualified for the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games that'll be this September. Everybody wants to swim there, but not everybody can qualify. That is the meet to chase. We're setting up now for our first set of awards. Let's see what we've got here. You have to forgive the break in time. A lot of these swimmers are swimming multiple events, so they may be just getting out of one swim when the awards are about to happen, or they could also still be in the warm down pool. We don't skip an athlete in their awards if they're warming down, and that warm down may be critical because they may have another event. We do have the 100-meter backstroke coming up. And then we've got one heat of 400-meter medley relay, 34 point. 4x100, sorry. Can't do a 100-meter relay in a 50-meter pool. Sorry, that was a geek alert. What a spectacular aquatic center. There's nothing like it in the U.S. There's a few that have built pools that look just like this, but they do not hold the rich history of this aquatic center. I think this is the 10th meet in a row. 10 weeks of championship meets here at the Indiana University Natatorium. At the men's NCAA Division I championships, there was a USA Swimming sectional championship. Indiana had an age group championship or two. And they warmed the place up so that we could have our meet here. This being the Citi Paraswimming World Series in Indianapolis in the USA. We want to thank Toyota for their great sponsorship of U.S. Paraswimming, and then obviously Citi for their sponsorship of this entire series that's circling the globe. Athletes are getting those points to make it into the finals, and then they're gathering points based on their medal tallies throughout the whole series. And there will be a series champion at the last race, the last meet. The arena announcer playing the music. She's already run through one theme song. She's on to another as we're waiting for them to get to these awards. First one we'll have is the women's 50-meter backstroke awards. Points throughout the day were scored anywhere from 7 points all the way to 640 points. And those are points incrementally away from 1,000 points. The standard is 1,000 points, and that is the current world record in their classification. There are multiple classifications in this race. Thought the lifeguard was going to go out to get an award. I'll tell you about the lifeguards here at the Indiana University Natatorium. I don't think there is better lifeguarding anywhere in the United States than here in this aquatic center. They were the first aquatic center in the United States to do this corner patrol, where they will walk all four corners of the pool in time intervals, and there are always a couple of sets of eyes. We have 2 lifeguards on each pool at all times when a swimmer might be swimming. Striped shirt there, that is Olivia Chambers' mom, and she might just be listening to me saying this. Let's see what the digital delay is. She is the one that outed Olivia as the nickname OC, so I certainly don't want to take the blame for that. I'll put that right on to Mom. Yeah, I think she heard me. Outstanding. There's Aiden's family, as that hashtag Paris is what we're all chasing this year. Outstanding. Here we go with our awards. This is for the 50-meter backstroke. Medley Herrera from Mexico was in 3rd place. She went 104.13, and that scored 452 points. She's in the red t-shirt there. Getting her award there, that is Medley Herrera from Mexico. Over on the other side is Hannah Olette from Mexico. She was 57.16, and scored 466 points in this event. Congratulations, Hannah. Karina Hernandez Torres from Mexico is your champion in the 50-meter backstroke. 640 points. She swam that race in 52:39. So congratulations to all of our medalists, and quite frankly to everyone who swam the event. These three women came from very far, traveling from Mexico and Canada to claim this hardware. Next up will be our men from the 50-meter backstroke. Led out there by Abbas Karimi in that yellow sweatshirt. Next to him is Diego Diaz-Lopez, and next to him is Alberto Diaz. Your bronze or third place medalist is Abbas Karimi, swims for the U.S. Locally at home, he swims for Swim Fort Lauderdale Masters under Marty Hendrick, and about 400 of us that are on that team. Second place there was Alberto Diaz from Chile. Chile hosted an outstanding Pan American Games in 2023. And your winner, Diego Lopez Diaz from Mexico, he scored 813 points with his 51.74. The fastest swim in that race was Abbas Karimi at 41.64. He was about a second faster than he was this morning. But once they calculate how many points that is worth up against the world record, that puts him in third place here in the meet. All right, looks like we just have two of our three medalists coming out for the women's 200-meter individual medley. In third place was Jessica Long. She's not out there. That's unfortunate. And Mallory Wegeman in second place. 257.71, 950 points. And with 959 points, Olivia O.C. Chambers, she is 21 plus 2 days today. Great swimming from those three, actually from all 22 that took part in the 200 IM. Now we have the junior awards for that same event. Keegan Knott in third place. She was 258.67, scored 625 points in that race. I know you've heard me say this. She swims with Andy Johns and Larry Leibovitz at the University of Northern Arizona, up in Flagstaff, because it's 7,000 plus feet. Second there was Canon Fukuda. She did not make, she's over on the other side. Canon Fukuda was second there in the junior race. And that was Mary Jibb from Canada, who they gave that medal to next. Right front and center there. Great job, Mary. That was a hard-fought battle and a fantastic result. She scored 824 points with that 246.19. Those are your women's medalists. All right, these are your... That is Juan Gutierrez Bermudez And next to him is his little brother. I'm sure he loved doing that. Nothing like a little brother beating a big brother. And your champion, Nelson Crispin Corzo from Colombia. Congratulations. Yeah, show that thing off. Well earned. These guys were all very high point scorers. Third place was 853. Second was his younger brother at 878. And then from Colombia, Nelson Corzo scored 997 points. That is right at the front door of the world record. So congratulations to those three. Here's your youth award winners. Owen McNear there. Noah Bush second. And Jesus Bermudez, who you just saw, is your youth champion. So he is awarded medals since he swam in the A final and got second in the A final. And being under 18, he was eligible to win a medal in the youth swim. And he did not disappoint. So he swam one race and ended up with a silver and a gold medal. Outstanding day. The Gutierrez Bermudez brothers have been battling each other and making each other faster for years. Now we're going to reset up the start-finish chairs. Our volunteer and USOPC staff. Our USOPC staff has just been outstanding. You would say as expected, and you would be right, but they go so much further than that. They're doing it with smiles all week. They're here at about 6 o'clock each morning, and we've been closing down the natatorium between 9 and 10 at night. And the athletes get to stroll in around 8 in the morning and leave about 8 at night with a nice long break in the middle. There is no break for the USOPC staff. They're here between the sessions, either gathering the next hospitality meal for our officials or getting all the administrative data ready for the finals to get those heat sheets out to the coaches as soon as they arrive, and making sure those results are ready to go. Also taking care of all the media requests. We've had great media coverage at this meet, and that is thanks to Kristen, our media coordinator for U.S. Paralympic Swimming. She's part of an incredible staff that travels the world on a regular basis, following all of our Paralympic athletes as they compete around the world this year for their chance at a spot on the Paralympic team. And then they will be planted in Paris for more than a month while those games are going on. Our next event is the women's 100-meter backstroke. The A finalists are making their way out. Shelby Newkirk will be swimming in lane 1. She is here from Canada. Lizzie Smith from the United States is in lane 2. Alexander Truitt from the United States is lane 2. Gia Pergolini, we saw her dominate the 200 IM by time a few minutes ago. She is in lane 4. Olivia Chambers is in lane 5. Hannah Aspen there is making her way out to the blocks. Next is Maria Franciscati from the United States. Paola Nunez from Mexico is your 8th and lane 8 swimmer. See what we've got here. There is no time for goofing off now. It's the last event. Everybody gets to just get up and go for it. Leave it all in the pool. There's Gia Pergolini and Olivia Chambers next to each other, going through their pre-race routine. making sure that cap is nice and tight, that goggle strap is pulled back. There's Hannah Aspden right next to them. We got backstroke specialists and racers, and some of them are both backstroke specialists and racers in this Championship A final of the women's 100-meter backstroke. Lanes 2, 4, and 5 get out to an early lead. That is Lizzie Smith, always great underwater. Gia Pergolini and Olivia Chambers, both having fantastic swim meets. Gia Pergolini, it looks like, has taken over an early lead. Looks a lot further ahead from this angle, but it's still pretty close. Lane 5 next to her is Olivia Chambers. And Hannah Aspden in lane 6 is even with lanes 2 and 3, Lizzie Smith and Alexandra Truitt. So we've got a couple of good races happening. It looks like first and second might be spoken for. So the races for third, fourth, and fifth by time. And then we'll parse out where the points go for the awards. Again, that's Gia Pergolini. She hasn't been very beatable this weekend. Just outstanding swimming for her. She hit the wall in 105.43. She was 106.1 this morning, so she's a little over half a second faster. Just behind her, Olivia Chambers, 35.3 on her second 50. She was 108.55. This morning she was 109. Third, Alexandra Truitt pulled away from the middle pack. She went 110.65. She was 111 this morning. And then that heat rounded out with Lizzie Smith in fourth, Hannah Aspden fifth, Maria Franciscotti sixth, Shelby Newkirk in lane number 1 was seventh, and in eighth was Paola Rubalcaba Nunez. Recap that start. Watch Lizzie Smith there right on the bottom of your screen. She is probably the best of this group of athletes, at least right now, as they're getting ready for Paris and hopefully qualifying for Paris. Lizzie off the blocks and underwater is the female part that one of our guys, Lawrence Sapp, is great underwater. Lizzie is great underwater. It really gets them out in front of their races. We have a youth final now. Casey Freeman will be swimming in lane number 1. Mary Jibb in lane 2. Piper Sadowski from the U.S. in lane 3. Chloe Cederholm in lane 4. Audrey Kim also from the United States in lane 5. Their U.S. teammate Keegan Knott is in lane 6. Momo Sutton will be in lane 7. And from Costa Rica in lane 8, Sarah Miranda Corrales. Women are stepping forward to the blocks, going through their pre-race routine, making sure goggles are tight, caps are snug. That first whistle is to bring them up to the side of the pool. Second whistle is to enter the water and get their feet set if they're able. There are little ledges that they can pull down onto the wall, so they have even more to push off of if they're able to do that. Or even if some athletes are able to do that, they choose not to. But those ledges are a great aid to getting away from a very flat, slippery wall. In lane 2, underwater, Mary Jibb definitely jumped out to a lead. A couple of fast backstrokers in the middle, though, are challenging her already. Chloe Cederholm and Audrey Kim up there in lane 5. Chloe Cederholm in 4. But Mary Jibb is holding on to an early lead. They're going to hit the wall pretty even here. I'd say within a couple of tenths of a second if they get their feet over fast. They do. 35.8, 35.7, 36.1 for the three of them. Pretty close. Now it's going to go down to really stroke tempo, and if they can, kick speed. Kick power actually would slow you down. If you're kicking really hard, the idea is to kick very fast with a small shaped kick. So it's very, very fast tempo, small kick, and that is exactly what's happening here in lane 5. That is Audrey Kim. She takes the win in that youth heat, 1:14.17. She was 1:16 this morning. It looks like Audrey made a time she was chasing, so we got some great reaction there. Good for her. Always exciting. Usually that time has initials and it's called MQS, and that qualifies you to be considered for the international teams that will compete this summer. So good for her. You hear those howling screams all around the natatorium. Just like every swimmer, nobody does it alone. That was Audrey Kim winning that heat in 1:14.17. 1:14.6 just behind her is Chloe Cedarholm. Third place in that heat was the leader of the race for most of the way, actually, Mary Jibb from Canada. And Mary got away from the wall very fast, held her lead, lost it around the 50, but then regained, and then Audrey, Keegan, Chloe, they all kind of turned on some tempo and challenged her for the finish. I know I'm saying this a lot, but great swimming out of that heat. Very impressive. And is there anything better than that? Achieving a time, big smile, and that grin that goes from ear to ear. Sigh of relief when you achieve something like that. Our B final tonight from Colombia, Laura Gonzalez Rodriguez. Jessica Long is in lane 2 from the United States. Also from the U.S., Taylor Winnett. Colleen Young from the United States is in lane 4. All of the rest of the swimmers here are from the U.S. Grace Newfer in lane 5. Anastasia Pagonis from the U.S. in lane number 6. Haven Shepard is in lane 7, and Ahalia Lettenberger is in lane number 8. Come in and set. You can see who grabs that little ledge and who doesn't. Not too many in this heat are using it. Swimmers in the middle of the pool are. The official's looking down to make sure that it's set properly in lane number 4. They're having a little struggle to get it right, but we'll wait. And they'll get the command for the start. Our underwater swimmer on this one, that's Grace Newfer, underwater, taking a little bit of a lead, still holding it. That's outstanding. A lot of the swimmers that are very fast underwater get caught a bit when they get to the surface. Going fast and powerfully underwater is a big oxygen cost, but Grace seems to have handled that quite well and continues to hold her lead. Lanes 3, 4, and 5. Grace hits first there. I'm sorry, that's Colleen Young. Got her feet over a little bit quicker, 36.36. Grace was second at 36.10, and at 36.4 was Taylor Winnett. So 3 of them are going almost stroke for stroke. Whoever picks up their kick speed without making their kick bigger will probably also match that with a little bit faster stroke tempo as they go into these last 10 meters. Lane 4, that's Colleen Young. Looks like she's going to get the win, and she does. She was 1:14.07, 1:14.57 for Grace in lane number 5. And in third place, Taylor Winnett with a 1:14.99. All 3 of our swimmers were 1:14, almost a full second between them, which is very close over 100 meters in multi-class events. Fourth place was Jessica Long with a 1:24.2. Fifth was our Colombian swimmer, Laura Rodriguez. Sixth in that heat, Anastasia Pagonis. And seventh in lane 8, Holly Lettenberger, and Haven Shepard was 8th in that swim. See, Grace got out fast, and then Colleen slowly chipped away at that. She was only a couple of tenths faster at the 50, and then they all pushed off and regrouped around the 35-meter mark. You can see with 25 meters left, Colleen picked up her tempo a little bit and poured on a little extra power, and call that veteran strength. She kind of knew what to do in that situation and got it finished. Outstanding, though. These are teammates pulling for each other even when they're racing against each other. We move on now to the men's A final. Jack O'Neill will be in lane 1, Braxton Wong in 2, Yassine Eldemerdash in 3, Evan Wilkerson in lane 4. Lawrence Sapp will be swimming in lane 5. Owen McNear in lane 6. Carson Bruner, all 7 of those swimmers from the United States. Carson Bruner will be in lane 7. And from Mexico, Jesus Gutierrez Bermudez. We just got 3 individual races left this evening, and then we'll go into a relay. One of them will be swimming exhibition. The other 2 will be swimming officially. I believe you can only enter 1 relay from each country officially, but since there are only 2 entries, and it's a great opportunity here in one of our home pools for the U.S. team to put an exhibition relay together in there. So we'll see where our guys are on their last individual event. We'll see what kind of energy they have left. Again, they're making sure that those backstroke ledges were placed. Getting away fast, as expected. Lawrence Sapp gets out there pretty quick. Over in lane 3, though, he is being challenged by Yassine Eldemerdash. Still holding positions with Lawrence in lane number 5. Hitting the wall first, it looks like Evan Wilkerson got his feet around there first. No, he didn't. It's coming up a little bit backwards on the clock. Lawrence definitely hit the wall first there, but he got the second place time. So I know they'll work that out administratively. They always do. We've got a great set of administrative officials and stroke and turn officials. Yassine, I think, decided he was going to go for it. Hey, it's my last swim. This one is mine, and it is in a time of 1:05.72. Second there, Evan Wilkerson. Just behind him, Lawrence Sapp. They were 1:06.2 and 1:06.8 respectively. Owen McNear right next to them in lane 6 was 1:07.33. Fifth in that heat was Braxton Wong, 1:10.17. Sixth at 1:11.57, that's Jack O'Neill. There was a little, I'm going to use an official term, wonkiness in the clock there on that event, but I know that they'll get it sorted out. They always do. Hey, Lawrence there, kind of mid-top screen, gets out first, but Yassine is challenging him right away. They hit very close to together. Outstanding swim by all of our backstrokers. Yassine takes the heat. Our youth final start list here in lane number 1, Leo Zhang from Canada. He's been swimming great the whole meet. I can say that about everybody, but he's kind of been standing out among a great group of competitors. From the U.S., Cyrus Kia in lane number 2. Ryan Edelman in lane number 3 from the United States. Also from the U.S., Aiden Stavers in lane 4. Lucas Collada in lane number 5. There's Lucas. Nathan Alfaro. And lane 7, that's Rodrigo Wu. He's here from Peru for this swim meet. Charlie G. Michel representing the Maple Leaf Canadian flag. And he's been representing that flag very well at this swim meet. I think he's made it into the finals in just about everything he swam. Definite trade-off to making the finals in everything you swim. It takes a lot of energy, so hopefully he's getting a lot of rest on these first 2 nights so that he can close out this meet with some great swims. They blew that first whistle. The second whistle for backstrokers means they can enter the water, and if they choose to use that backstroke wedge, see some of them will pull that down into the water, put a foot on it, and then bring that other foot if they're able. It is very awkward if you're not used to using them. And this particular brand, right after the race starts, you'll hear a bunch of clicking. And that is those things rebounding up into their storing position. Lane 4, Aiden Stivers is not swimming this race, so we'll pull him out on our paper. I think we just had a little confusion over how that backstroke wedge works in one of our lanes and where you can hold on for your start. That backstroke ledge is movable, so that's about the only thing at the wall that you could not hold on to for the start. And I think one of our swimmers was a little confused about that. They've showed him what he can do on his start, and he has grabbed the handles. See, these things are a struggle if you're not used to using them. There's lane 5 is getting that wedge down in the water. Once you have good experience with those things, they are fantastic. They help you really launch away from the wall. So in a backstroke race, you can tell who's using them and who's not using them by who really launches off that wall. Lane 3, that's Ryan Edelman out to an early lead, just about 25 meters down the pool of this 100 backstroke. This is the youth final that is made up of the 18 and under age swimmers that may not have made it into the A final. So it's a great incentive to swim fast. When most swim meets you may be a little discouraged if you don't think you're going to make it into a final. Well, we have created a final for our 18 and unders to help keep them motivated to make finals as they're going through their kind of mid-level development in their swimming careers. So the youth final is a great add as para swimming and all the para sports continue to evolve in the athlete's favor. Heat's pretty even there with that lane in between them. That's Ryan Edelman and Lucas Collada. May or may not know that they're in a race. Lucas Collada is taking a lead with 5 meters to go. Got about 3 strokes left. And he hits the wall in first at 1:22.55. Ryan Edelman was second at 1:24.09, and at 1:26.39, that was Nathan Alfaro from Costa Rica. He may have noticed that he was on the big board there, kind of giving a blah response, and then he gave us a little fist pump. I think the initial response was just out of fatigue. Our final of the swim meet, not just of the night, will be coming up after we take another look at this race. getting the middle in the end. Yeah, really good dolphin kicking, and that may have made a difference for him to get into that wall before anyone else. But you see our swimmer in lane number 5 decided to really pull up his tempo, and he took over. I think he's trying to get signals from his coaches. Was it good? Was it thumbs up? Was it so-so? And then he gave us a smile and a fist bump after that. Our start list for the B final, which is the last race, individual race of the swim meet. In lane 1, Noah Thomas from the United States. From Mexico in lane 2, Nestor Hernandez Ramirez. Jesse Grave in 3, from Colombia, Daniel Geraldo Carrera in lane 4. In lane 5 for Mexico, Octavio Romero Velasquez. In lane number 6 from Puerto Rico, Javier Hernandez Rodrigo. From Mexico, Hector Pedroza Alvarado. And from Chile, Alberto Abarza Diaz. Couple of races forming. First one is coming out of lanes really 4, 5, and 2 and 3. With the swimmer in the middle there trying to break into one and not let the other guys catch him. At the turn, Daniel Correa from Colombia is at 33.92 and leading the swim. And not just at the turn, he really made a great turn there and separated himself from the heat. They have 35 meters to go in this 100 backstroke, and we're forming a pretty solid race here for second. It's starting to spread out a little bit. Lane 5, that is Octavio Velasquez from Mexico. Looks like he may do it, but now making a move, Jesse Grieve from the U.S. in lane number 3 may get up and beat him for second. First place there was Daniel Correa, and then so close, 113.85 for Jesse Grieve in second place, and 113.98. We saved one of our best races for last. We've still got a few guys racing here. In lane 7, that is Hector Alvarado from Mexico. Finishes his race in a 130.50. Outstanding swim for him. Lane 1, that was Noah Thomas from the U.S. in at 7th place at a 135.75. Just about to finish, just about 15 meters to go, 10 meters to go. That is Alberto Abarza Diaz from Chile. Chile, the host extraordinaire of the Para-Pan American Games last November. Just about everybody who from the U.S. OPC staff that is supporting this meet spent about 6 weeks supporting Team USA for the Para-Pan American Games, and they were outstanding hosts down in Santiago, Chile. Well, we have wrapped the individual events of this 2024 Citi Para Swimming World Series. We've seen, I believe, 3 world records in this meet, quite a few records from the Americas. We had over 90 swimmers just over 90 swimmers from visiting countries alone. So this Para Swimming World Series has definitely taken hold on the sport of para swimming. I think we'll probably be waiting a minute or two before we get to this relay. So we have the old obligatory Macarena playing in the arena. So many great swims have happened here this weekend. A minimum of 3 world records have been set. so many best times and new minimum qualifying standards that make athletes eligible to be selected for their federations for the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games coming up this September in Paris, France. People don't know before they go there, but they come home with a phrase like "Je t'aime Paris." They love Paris. We'll see the sights of the Eiffel Tower. Hopefully, we'll see the para-triathletes in the Seine and up and down the Champs-Élysées on their bikes and on their feet and on their prosthetic feet, racing for those medals. And in the pool, we just got a glimpse of the pool in the social media this last week that they'll be competing in. There's a big contingent of veteran Team USA parents. The ultimate supporters of this sport are the moms and dads that spend all the time in the car and all the money on all the hotels and meets. We will never be able to thank them enough. You can, with so many groups in parasport, you can say without them we couldn't do this. But when we look at the parents, that's really the honest truth. Without them, we could not do this. Our relay swimmers are making their way out to the deck. We have an exhibition team swimming in lane 3. That'll be Jack O'Neill, David Gelfand, Callie Prochaska, and Natalie Sims in that order. This is the 4x100 meter medley relay. So unlike the individual medley, the order is a little different, but we'll see all 4 strokes contested in each lane. It starts with backstroke, and as they finish the 100 backstroke, they will have a swimmer up on the blocks or on the deck, maybe even an in-water start. We'll see. That second swimmer goes breaststroke. Third swimmer, butterfly, and the anchor in the medley relay is freestyle. In lane 4, that's Hannah Aspden, who really just got out of the 100 backstroke, so we should see if she goes faster for the relay than she did for herself. That happens a lot. And then Canada, that's Leo Zhang swimming the backstroke in the green cap. Teammate battles are always fun, especially when one of the men and one of the women are swimming head-to-head against each other. It's certainly a pride race. You're going to see Hannah hold her own here against Jack O'Neill. I'm sure she's planning on doing more than holding her own. I'm sure she wants to take him down, and Jack is swimming to not let that happen. Jack's only about chest deep ahead of Hannah. They turn at 35 and 36, so it's about a second and a half between them at the wall. Leo from Canada is just about to make his turn. He hits the wall at 45.8. These are mixed relays and mixed strokes, so to me, there is no way to predict how these are going to end up without doing a lot of math and a lot of research, and that's what our U.S. and Canadian coaches did today in order to come up with these relays. So some of these are for fun. Some of these are actually for qualifying. Earlier in the meet, the United States qualified 2 relays for the Paralympic Games, and those are qualified by country. So they basically got what they call a start right, I believe. And when I'm wrong, I'll try to say it. But I think that's as far as I'll go. There's no guarantees in any of that. They were pretty close finish there. Hannah Aspden there was getting permission from the official to go under the lane lines and exit the pool. Always a great idea to ask the official. Sometimes from meet to meet, it's a little bit different. So if you don't want to pop out in your lane, you might want to ask an official permission to go out the side. The US B team is beating the USA team right now. If you're on the B team, there's not a better feeling than that. But we're not even halfway through this race, so we'll see what comes up with the butterflyers. Backstrokers were pretty close to even. The breaststrokers here, we have David Gelfand right there swimming breaststroke. He's got about a 6 or 7 meter lead over, I believe that's Morgan Ray in lane number 4. So David Gelfand, that goes back or breaststroke to butterfly. Butterflyer is Callie Prochaska. Morgan Ray is turning it over to Lizzie Smith. Lizzie Smith is 100 butterfly specialist. Callie Prochaska is no slouch herself. So we'll see if Lizzie can make a move on the B team. Our Canadian team is just making their changeover from breaststroke to butterfly. And that was Allie Deal handing it off to Mary Jibb in lane number 5. Callie Prochaska is handling this race pretty well. There's our Canadian team. She's about 35 meters down the pool. A lot of times there's mixed emotions when a coach says, hey, you got on a relay. And you go, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. You're doing fly, and it's right after the 100 backstroke. And then sometimes you have to convince them that it's a good idea to swim the relay. These athletes are all cheering for their teams behind the blocks. Lizzie Smith has made a move on the B team. Both of those freestylers are in the water now, and I think we're going to have something very close, or that A team is going to take over here in the freestyle. Yassine Eldemerdash definitely wants to catch Natalie Sims, and he is slowly doing that. Actually, he's not slowly doing that at all. He's not slowly doing anything. They both got 5 and 6 meters to go. Looks like she's going to keep the lead through the first 50, and then Yassine is going to say, I'll take it from here. She has just seen that he's that close, and I could tell she just sped up. Her kick just got a lot faster, but probably not enough to overcome Yassine in lane 4, as he is swimming away with 15 meters to go. It's going to be Yassine Eldemerdash and his USA team finishing ahead of the exhibition USB team. He looks back like, wait a minute, you guys made me work for that. He certainly did, but that's what a teammate does. High fives and handshakes all around all 8 swimmers from the U.S. The Canadian team is down here cheering on their anchor. Their anchor is Charlie G. Michel, who has had just an outstanding swim meet throughout Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm not sure how long he's been here in Indianapolis. That was great. Love the relays. Absolutely love the relays. These relay swimmers are going to get out of the pool now. They've heard their whistle. They're going to pop out of the water. And we're going to move on to some awards. I think we did the IM awards. We'll get to our backstroke awards and our relay awards as soon as we can, as soon as I receive the relay awards. Can't expect to get them this fast. They're probably still verifying them and printing them, and then they'll send them up to me. Getting all the chairs off the deck. Oh, Yassine. Great swim. Natalie Sims, that was an outstanding swim by her. And when Yassine did catch her and she did realize it, you could see her kick get faster and her arms start moving even faster. She wasn't waiting for that to happen. I think that was just a natural reaction to, oh my gosh, he caught me. I'm not going to let him get away too far. And that was outstanding. And here are orchestra type of awards music. That's coming through in the background here in the natatorium. This is the Citi Para Swimming World Series stop in Indianapolis. Everybody who took the time to watch, to tune in, to watch your favorite swimmer, we really appreciate the viewership. The more of you that watch, the more often we can do this. And the more often we can do this, the more people we can expose this great sport of U.S. Paralympic swimming and World Para Swimming to new viewers across the globe. That sounds like something I read, but that just came off my head. I am tired if I'm making sense. We'll have our backstroke awards here, and we also and always want to thank the great people at Toyota, sponsors to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee as a whole, also a great sponsor of U.S. Para Swimming and all the U.S. Para sports. I can speak for the chief of Paralympics at the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, thanking Toyota for all their support and sponsorship for the organization and for the individual athletes themselves. We had great teams here. There's a team from Chile and their support staff. We had over 49 swimmers from Mexico. That's Team Chile chillin'. Morgan Ray back there. There's Aaron Popovich. Working. She just got an individual medley record or award. Gentleman there giving us a yawn, a well-earned yawn. I will pick on him individually. He is the director of World Para Swimming. Some of our officials already talking about things that went well, things that didn't. Gentleman with his arms crossed there, that is the head of World Para Swimming. As one of our swimmers making her way out of the natatorium. There's David Gelfand. Great conversations with him. He is still swimming at a world level and working full-time after getting his master's degree. He is an engineer who is helping engineer surgical tools for surgeries on things like shoulders, elbows, wrists, knees, hips, ankles, anywhere your body is supposed to bend. When that gets worn down or injured, David is out there designing the tools for our surgeons to help put you back together or firm you back up. Okay, we're going to start with the 150-meter IM record or awards. This is Nelly Herrera, who we just saw in the last awards. She swam 3:26.72 for 640 points. When there are only two athletes in the final race, just the gold medal is given out. That makes that win very important. And that win comes from your points. But remember her competitor, Allie Van Wyck Smart, she swam just lights out, and she went faster than she did in the morning. She was 4:59.16. She was 5:00 in the morning, and remember the whole natatorium gave her a big cheer. Here's the men's 150-meter IM medalists. Marcos Zarate Rodriguez, 24 years old from Mexico. He is your bronze medalist, 622 points from a 3:26.82 time. Miguel Luque from Spain, sitting high and proud in that chair, 668 points, 254, and with 900 points from a time of 354.07. That is Christopher Tronco Sanchez from Mexico. When you get into the 900s, you're starting to mess with the world record. It's really outstanding. Oh, we got a selfie alert. Great. I'm sure that's a great photo. A great memory for these guys. Coming all the way to Indianapolis from Mexico and from Spain to compete and work hard to qualify towards Paris. Our next awards are the women's 100-meter backstroke. That is Lizzie Smith on your right. She is so good underwater and a great butterflyer, and that translates right over to backstroke. She was third place tonight, 946 points, as I was saying, getting kind of messing with the world record and not even at her fastest times yet. Gia Pergolini, she has been racing so well at this swim meet. 105.43, she was 981. 988 points for Shelby Newkirk from Canada. She is your Citi Paris Swimming World Series champion in the women's multi-class 100-meter backstroke. Outstanding. All three of these ladies racing like champions. Next, we'll have our youth awards for that same race. All three of these youth medalists came from that youth heat. We had all 18 and overs in the A final tonight. Third place in your bronze medalist was Audrey Kim. Great swim for Audrey. In second place, that's Maria Franciscotti from the United States. Congratulations, Maria. It's continuing to get better. Mary Jibb, we've seen her all over the finals. She came here from Canada. She's 17 years old. 1:16.25 was her time in the 100 backstroke with 875 points. Congratulations to these young women. And we line up the men for their awards. Some of these guys just got out of the relay. Same thing with the women. We are saying just a minute. Are we saying wait a minute? We're saying hurry up and get over here. Giving hand signals. One on the phone, one waving hands. The U.S. Paralympic Swimming and U.S. Para staff running such an incredible event. Cannot thank them enough. They've been here since Sunday, some of them. Working with the venue, getting everything set up, all the signage, all the backstroke flags, everything you see here in the Aquatic Center that is advertising this event. All that stuff went up, and as everyone is just exhausted from this week of hard work, guess what they're going to do as soon as we go off the air? They're going to take it all down. This place is going to be spotless before we leave tonight, and we all get on planes, and most of us head back to Colorado Springs. Here's the men's backstroke medalists. We're going to see something pretty good here. In third place, Yassine El Demirdash, who just swam that incredible anchor leg of the medley relay for the A team in the U.S. And then Jack O'Neill getting second in the 100 backstroke, just swam the 100 backstroke in the U.S. B team. Owen McNair, 18 years old, is your champion in the 100 backstroke from the A final. And guess what? He's also your champion in the youth final. So he's going to come out of this race with 2 gold medals for 1 great swim. We'll bring our youth swimmers out. Here is our medalists for the men's 100-meter backstroke youth division. And we just saw Owen a second ago. Jesus Gutierrez Bermudez from Mexico was in third place. In second, Braxton Wong. Braxton went 1:10.17. He had a little middle mishap there, putting it back together. Owen McNair, your champion, your youth champion, was also your 100-meter backstroke A final champion. So he is coming out of one race with 2 gold medals. What a great thing. Just got one more medal to go. And wouldn't you know, they didn't send me the results with names, but I'll see if I can pull that off for you. The 400 medley relay USA team, I believe that's the only medal that they will award is a gold, because there were just 2 official relays in the event. When there's only 2 relays or 2 events entered, only the gold medal is awarded. So this is Lizzie Smith, who was your butterflyer, Hannah Aspden, who was your backstroker, Morgan Ray, your breaststroker, and Yassine El Demirdash in that bright red Team USA t-shirt. And the crowd is giving it up for Lizzie, Hannah, Morgan, and Yassine. Great swimming. Well, I can't thank you enough for tuning in to the Citi Paraswimming World Series. We're going to be signing off here. Thank you to everyone who was involved in making this event happen, from the U.S. Paralympics to U.S. Paraswimming, World Paraswimming. Can't say thank you enough. All of our volunteer officials, timers, basket carriers, all of these great athletes that came here from all over North, South America and Europe. We had a swimmer here from Mongolia who's been following most of the tour. We see some great waves, outstanding family support systems, all the fist bumps from the moms, and the shy swimmers that would rather not be on camera. Outstanding. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Coach John DeSleer calling all these races for the last 3 days for the World Paraswimming, the Citi Paraswimming World Series. Thanks again, and I believe we're going to throw this off to Madeira, Portugal, who's got the next event. Thanks. Have a great night. Travel safe.